broke down the film from Saturday's game. What did you see? What kind of things were you working on?
We had good effort overall on everything, offense, defense, and special teams. We still had a couple, put the ball on the ground twice in the second half. That's our responsibility. Not using the right fundamentals and holding on to the football. And a couple penalties here that we need to clean up and some missed tackles.
What about USC? You looked at their film over the weekend. And
yep.
What'd you look at?
Good football team, very explosive on the offensive side of the ball. Has the best set of wide receivers in the country. I mean, I don't think anybody would argue when you have Woods and Lee, two outstanding guys. Arguably the first pick of the draft, one of the top quarterbacks out there, in Matt Barkley. Then they added Silas Redd at the running back spot. Athletic on the defensive side of the ball. Always really good in special teams. So, you're a complete football team.
How surprising is it that they have 2 losses at this point to you?
I don't pay attention to that. So.
What stood out from watching their game against Arizona? What did the Wildcats do?
Well, number 9 stood out a little bit. 16 catches for 345 yards. He also threw in a 73-yard kickoff return. So I think that's enough work for 2 weeks. And if they want to give him this week off, I wouldn't object to it. So, good football. I mean, there was a lot of explosion plays, both sides of the ball. It was a good football game.
Is there anything from last year that you can implement this year with those guys, with Lee and Woods, that you saw last year that maybe you might do something a bit different this year in the back end?
No, I mean, I think everybody knows when you're going in to play USC that you got to stop Woods and Lee, but I don't think anybody's really done a good job of it yet, and that's a credit to those guys of how talented those 2 guys are. They're going to get their share of catches. You got to negate them. The one thing Marquise is great at and Robert's great at is just running after the catch. They may catch the ball, but you really got to get a lot of guys around them, and you got to do a great job of tackling because they're so elusive with the ball in their hands after the catch, which I think really makes them more difficult. They're not just one-dimensional where they run a great route, but after the catch, that's it. It's after the catch, there's a lot of yards that they gain. So I think really tackling and gang tackling more specifically with those 2 guys.
What about Marquise as a return threat? What makes him so dangerous there?
Same thing. When the ball's in his hands, he's as an exciting a player as there is in this country. He's very, very difficult to tackle. He's got great change of direction, a great vision, great knack for making people miss, especially the first guys. So, that usually one guy's not going to bring him down. We've got to get a lot of guys around him.
You guys recruited him. Is this about kind of what threat you thought he'd be at this stage in his career?
We knew he was a really good player, but I don't think anybody could have predicted that when he's a sophomore that he had this type of impact. I mean, the game on last Saturday was one for the ages. I'm not sure. I don't know how many other receivers have had 304. I know it was a Pac-12 record. I mean, you're up there with talking with some of the best receiving games in the history of the college football. So.
Between Barkley and Lee and Anthony and Varner, I mean, you're talking about some of the best offensive players in the country. Is there any party that's going to be able to sort of have an appreciation as you're watching the game, you think, Saturday, for just kind of the talent that's on the field, or just get caught up in it?
We're coaching the game. Yeah. We'll watch it afterwards.
Ifo and Terrence went up against those guys last year, obviously. How much different players are Ifo and Terrence this year? How much have they progressed in that past year?
I think they've improved, since our game against them was a long time ago. So I think everybody's improved, but I think they've improved too. That's the interesting thing. Marquise Lee, as dynamic a player as he was last year, is rewriting the record book in the sophomore year. Woods is the all-time leading receiver in USC history. They've got a tremendous tradition of receivers there. So, I think Ifo's better and T. Mitch is better, but I know Woods is better and I know Lee is better. And obviously we know what Matt can do. So.
In what way are Ifo and Terrence better than they were?
Got more confidence. They got better understanding of what we're doing. They're a little stronger. They're a little faster. They're a year advanced. They got more experience.